That's good, right? Alright. Okay. I'm really glad this poem was able to find a home, because it was a poem that I wrote like about 2 years ago, and that sort of helped pull me out of about 2 years of not writing poems. And so now it's out there. It's called The Town Historian. In the beginning, our town of runaways was founded by a boy who hopped a freight train at the age of 7, then jumped off it 2 years later for no reason. No reason that the hobos could see. He was Edouard, the original runaway. Edouard said he jumped when he saw the town lake glistening in the starlight and felt a pang of wistfulness like a knife. We know he was telling the truth because we all felt the same thing on our own trains, didn't we? It was on the shore of the town lake that Edouard reconstructed his old house as best he could. Electrical outlets, seams in wallpaper, shutters, and flower boxes. With every detail, the pain in his chest receded until it was only a grain. Soon another runaway arrived, and another, all using wood and plaster to whittle their pain down to almost nothing. A sacred space. Plantation houses with vines growing up the pillars. High-rise apartment units suspended in mid-air. Boat houses gliding across the town lake. Tool sheds. Our diverse habitations have always been united by the sacred space that we share. The space between our old house and the way we remember it, between our parents' grief and the way we imagine them grieving. For an unlucky few, there are parents who stumble upon our town quite accidentally and recognize their own home approximated. These parents are in fits of tears or laughter or anger, but fits all the same. Anyway, there goes the sacred space. Other parents know somehow what they are doing, come here on pilgrimages full of hope, only to leave disappointed, crumpling scrapbooks and flyers in their fists. The matter at hand. We've all heard the rumor that Edouard fathered a child with Natasha, the girl who built a Chevy when she arrived, that they placed the baby on a doorstep in a basket and ran like the Dickens. No matter, Edouard has gone and we don't know where. What we do know is that we and our houses have aged, that the train has stopped running, that the night air smells more and more like the day air. Worse, as each banister crumbles or chimney cracks, the grain in our hearts grows a little. I've started designing a replica of the freight train. I could use some help. With each stroke of my pen, the weight of wistfulness grows until I can't move any direction but back to my crumbling Zeppelin over the lake to sleep. I'll read another poem that's also about trains. And it's also about women. And Weave is a very woman-supportive organization, which is great. Although the poem is about exploding women, which I don't mean in any sort of aggressive way. But it's called Exploding Girls on Trains.
Very apt.
Yeah. Corinne on her way to Duluth, where her sister is dead. Her sister is in a polished cherry coffin, clothed in one enormous doily. Corinne is in a train car that shines like a polished locket on a dull silver chain. If you cracked the train car open down the middle, Corinne and the sweaty young man across the aisle would be the two faces, and he would have no choice but to look at her. Lilith exploding on her way to Milwaukee, where her husband is arriving by boat. Not figuratively, but literally exploding. The conductor has been called back to her train car, and he and the passengers are all crying in a circle around Lilith. A piece of her wrist lands on the conductor's lapel, and he wraps it in his handkerchief for the husband. Sheila, who is reading an article about dust mites. It says there could be 10 million dust mites in her bed at home in Altoona, where the train is headed. Do dust mites have necks? I am breaking their necks every time I sleep. Sheila walks to the lavatory like a giant, where a murderer waits. Anne, who is exploding, but only because the train is exploding and she is in it. Patricia in the baggage car, locked inside the musician's case of her musician boyfriend Pierre. They are eloping to Dayton, where there will be a song and dance duo. The train lurches and the case and Patricia tumble off a shelf. Indeed, the case is stuffy, but mostly she is sweating because something, a broken mirror, the sword of a performer or a general, has punctured the leather case, is rubbing through her shins with each jerk of the train. Patricia steels herself, focuses on the ticking of her new watch, a gift from Pierre, a clock attached to a bomb that is slowly diffusing. Thanks.